Name one successful person that only does what they want to do. What's the secret of success? Doing things you don't want to do on a regular basis. Grew up in New Jersey to teenage drug-addicted parents. Felt like I lost the genetic lottery. For me, all that stuff that happened, it was like getting me ready for like exactly what I do now. And that's the biggest blessing. So I tell people like, yes, I made $1 million in my first 36 months of having my license, but understand the first 6 months I made 20 grand, and the next 2.5 years I made 900.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Built for the Cold podcast. Too cold for the average Joe, just right for me, my friend David here, and the listeners of this show. I'm actually very excited to bring David on. He's actually been a close friend. I'd say a couple months now.
Couple months now.
Yeah. Kind of just working. When I say close, I mean working intimately in a sales training environment with your team and all of his agents. So here, actually, with my wife on our honeymoon in Puerto Rico, and found out David lived here. So hey, man, let's just shoot a podcast while we're at it. So we are here. So welcome to the show, my friend. Good to have you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So kind of what I was thinking of talking about today, nothing crazy, but it's more like you have a pretty amazing background just as far as where you came from to what you've been able to do. So anything you want to dive in, I don't know a ton about your kind of personal story outside of things you've shared with Jeremy and everything else. Whatever you'd like to kind of touch on, we'll go back and forth today.
Absolutely, man. Grew up in New Jersey to teenage drug-addicted parents.
Oh, wow.
And, felt like I lost the lottery, right? The genetic lottery. And
any siblings?
Yes, I had a sister. She was 2 years younger.
Okay.
And then later on I ended up getting a half sister as well.
Okay.
And I lived in like 20 places by the time.
What?
By the time I was in high school. I probably lived in about 20 different places.
Did you ever have like 1 year full in like any school at that point?
So, like I said, my parents struggled with drug addiction, and my mother got clean when I was 5th grade. My mother got clean in 5th grade, and that's when things started like really like getting normal, closer to normal, right? So 5th grade, that was a school, and then 6th, 7th, and 8th, I went to the same school, and then high school, I was in the same school. So, So up before that, it was like always a new school, new people, how to introduce myself, how to be the new kid, like get like all that stuff that comes with that.
Wow.
But then, my mom, once she got clean, life got a lot better, and things were great. And then I ended up with a drug addiction of myself, and dealt with that for about 20 years because I was.
When did that start?
Man, when did I start? That started high school. I guess high school is when when I woke it up, right? Just drinking in the woods with friends, and I was really big on I wasn't gonna do any hard drugs because I know how bad they were, and I dealt with that personally. And then one day my friend was really convincing, and he's just like, man, you should try this. You should really try this. And I did. And I was like, oh my God, I love it. What else should I try? And sure enough, that was probably not the right answer.
So when you're going through that though, like everything from like your childhood to, I know you kind of fast forward quite a bit working through that, but what did that shape as far as what you've been able to build now, like with your businesses and everything else? Like, what did you take from that was good in all of that? Yeah,
so I think like, at first there's like a lot of regret, right? There's, regret. I went through all this. I wasted so many years of my life, clean in 2013, right? So like there's a ton of time like I look at as wasted. And then you also think about, like I talk about like the genetic lottery, right? I was born to, very, very low middle class. I don't know how to rate the class, but government assistance. So whatever government assistance is, So
I was the one right above that level where it's like you don't qualify for anything, but you still don't have a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how I grew up.
So and then you grow up across, when my mom got clean, I moved to Brick, New Jersey, and there was ocean and water. So there's, some people with some money, they got boats and all that stuff. You're like, man, I wish I grew up to this. But like now I deal with so many people, right? Literally thousands of insurance agents, and like I can relate with anyone. And like if I grew up like rich and I didn't go through these struggles, like I feel like there's like no respect, right? Like, oh, that person, he was born like that, right? So for me, all that stuff that happened, it was like getting me ready for like exactly what I do now. And that's the biggest blessing, because it's like you can't pay for that.
No, you can't.
Right? So like that's like a huge value add that I have when when I'm coaching, mentoring, attracting people to work with me.
Like no one can take that from you. Like
no one can take it.
Literally, whatever money you continue to make, like that can't be bought.
It's your story, right? So like I think about like the best movies, like what's the best movies? Like the ones where it's like tragedy, they go through all this stuff, right? And then all of a sudden at the end, and like they win big, right? And you get little tears in your eyes. You're so happy for the person. Like that those are the best stories. So people like those stories. So for me, it's been very helpful in attracting really good, talented people that want to work with me.
Oh, that's incredible. When did you start to develop that perspective, would you say?
So it's after the success,
After.
right? You know what I mean? Because you don't know what you don't know. So like, you know, you're resentful and you wish you had this, and then all of a sudden you start having some success because you start having good habits, you start consistently working, and you're doing all these things, but you're doing it in like blind faith because you don't really know. Like when you're an entrepreneur, you don't know it's gonna work, right? No one tells you. Like someone said it one day, and it was like entrepreneurship is like running a race, but no one telling you when the finish line is. Just run. We'll tell you when to stop, right?
Yeah.
And you
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Let's go.
And you just don't know. Like you don't know when that success is, when you cross that finish line. But then when you do the right thing and it happens and you're being consistent in habits and all that stuff, and you do it long enough and you start having success, and then you start doing it longer and you have success, then it's easy to like look back and be like, man, why was I successful? Why am I winning? What did I do right? Because you want to replicate that and you want to teach it. So like, what are some things that I did right? I'm like, oh, you know what? All these people trust me because they know I'm self-made. All these people trust me because they could relate, because something in their life sucks. And they're like, well, if David, who's a 20-year-old, can like turn his life around and make millions of dollars, like maybe I got a chance. And like to me, like that's, you know, that's more valuable than any marketing video I could do.
Did you always have a desire to be a millionaire? Was
Yes,
that like
my whole life.
your whole life?
Yeah, I used to watch Scrooge McDuck, Swimming the Money, and DuckTales and stuff like that. Like,
yes.
That was like my favorite cartoon.
That made me, I know you're a little older than me, but man, that even felt like it aged me. I was like, yes, I do remember all of that. Probably some of these kids listening have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, I was always interested in money and business. So when like I said, I grew up in government assistance, and you know, my mom's single mom, you know, dealing with substance abuse issues, waiting tables. You know, it was me and my sister. We were living in the projects in like Woodbridge, New Jersey, and you know, sometimes on Christmas, like we only got stuff because it was like donated from a church or some kind of program and all that. But then we go to my grandfather's house, who owned a mechanic shop in Piscataway, New Jersey, and it was like the kind that does like heavy equipment, like 18-wheelers and stuff like that. So he was very successful. He was a workaholic. Really, really good at anything that he did. So like he had a condo, he had like this 3-story condo. He used like an interior decorator to like do everything. All the furniture was like custom made. He had like silk wallpaper. He bought a new Lincoln Town car every 2 years. So it's like, okay, government assistance, business owner. Government assistance, business owner. So like I was like, all right, I want to be a business owner. Like I want that life, because when I go to his house, like it's like 3 meals, they're all cooked. They're like, just like this stuff like people take for granted, like to me was like such a luxury.
Yeah. And how old were you when you were experiencing that dichotomy?
Yeah, so that was I guess 8, 9 years old,
okay.
You know, and that was when I was really, you know, I guess that's when you start like really paying attention, like what's going on around you and stuff like that.
It is.
You know, he lived in a house before that, but I guess his business might have started taking off because he sold the house, he got rid of all the furniture, and like everything was brand new.
Wow.
Yeah, so like that like told me like I want to be a business owner. My first business was a landscape business, and I had a few different businesses.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know how to be successful.
When did you start building businesses?
My first business was in 2008-ish.
Okay. Wow. The best time to get into the economy, huh?
Yeah. It was landscape business.
For those that don't remember it, it was actually the worst time. It was worse. It was very hard to get jobs.
It was probably about 2008. And then I was cutting grass. So it was a landscape business.
Okay.
And it was funny because I worked for a landscaper for a little bit. And he fired me, he got rid of me because I had no experience. I was super slow, I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm like, all right. And I was talking to my one friend, and he's like, I don't take people's yards anymore unless it's like a neighbor of a client. Because he was so busy. He was like 55 yards on a Wednesday.
Wow.
Like, you know, like insane.
55 yards in one day.
Yeah, so he did it right. So when you're in high school, that's when you know the most people. So he started cutting grass when he was in high school. So he's doing all his friends' parents' house, because of course they're gonna use him.
Yeah, you used to.
Yeah, so he gets out of high school, he's got hundreds of clients already. Like the guy was crushing it.
Is that where you learned the networking?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, that too. So I'm with him and one day, and he's like, man, I turned down so much business. I could probably help someone start their own business. I was like, really? Are you serious? Like, and he's like, yeah. I was like, cool, tell me what to buy. And then I like bought a trailer, bought the lawnmower, the weed eater, the blower, and everything all brand new. I bought the brands he said, everything he said. I was like, cool, send me the business. It didn't end up being as much as he said it was gonna be. But you know, that was just me trying to jump on an opportunity.
How long did it take you to make that decision from when he's like, hey, I'm gonna do this, I can help you with this, and to when you bought the stuff?
Not long at all. Because I wanted to be a business owner. I was working in corporate America. So I was still working corporate America, and then I was doing that on the side.
I see. Yep. So you kind of just knew once you saw your opportunity, you're like, hey, I mean, there was no thought of like, hey, what if this fails? What if like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, walk me through what that's like. Because I know a lot of people sometimes struggle to get into business because of that.
So that's the other benefit you have of growing up on government assistance and going through all that stuff. Like, you're just used to adversity. Like, adversity is like part of my life. So I think that's one thing that's really helped me with entrepreneurship, because like, what if dude, it can't be as worse as it's been, right? Like, and and then the pain threshold. Me and Jeremy were talking about this actually, right? Like, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, like, you are dealing with so many things, and the bigger you get, everyone thinks it's easier for you, but like, the problems are bigger that you deal with.
It's always funny when I hear that, like, people are like, oh yeah, well, you have this, 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 and this. I was like, you have no idea how much responsibility sometimes that comes with it.
Well, it's like you have money, but it's like, dude, like, things could stop. Like if the money stops, like, things fall apart real fast.
Real fast. Yeah.
Real fast.
Wow.
So for me, I was just gonna go for it, and you know, made a lot of dumb mistakes, you know, with that philosophy. But like, every mistake gets you closer to like, they're all a learning lesson.
100%.
Like, you go to college, you pay 40, 50, 60, I think $80,000 a year for college now, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
To like learn a whole bunch of stuff, or you just make mistakes and learn it faster. For free.
Pretty much. Especially in today's economy, I feel like you can just do whatever business. I heard there was this one kid, I don't know if you remember this, but he literally was making $220,000 a month just from creating family snowmen, like, from like all the, like, it was insane. I was like, they're just paying for snow families or whatever, and this kid's just sculpturing snow every snowfall, like in Minnesota or something like that. But I was like, there's no shortage of opportunity if you want to find it.
Yeah, I was actually talking to someone today, you know, they're like, yeah, I just created another revenue stream. I was like, you gotta watch out for those side quests. I was like, actually, like, I need to watch out for the side quests, right? I don't want to talk about someone else, what they're supposed to do. So I'm like, I need to. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, like, you know, the main thing that makes me money, and there's a lot of other things I can do that make me money, but like, I got to make sure that it makes sense and it's not taken away from the main thing.
Correct.
Because the main thing might make me 6 figures a month.
Correct.
And then the other thing might make me like 2,000 a month, which is great for most people, but like, if it takes away from the main thing, then it's not.
Because everything is an ROI on your time. You can spend time here, what's going to pay you more in that time.
Yeah, and that's a commodity, right? The time, and like understanding the time, and like, once you start like mastering time, that's when everything really gets better.
When would you, maybe you've been asked this before, but when would you say you finally hit a level of success where you're like, okay, I can breathe?
You know, when I started my insurance business, so before my insurance business, I was in Puerto Rico actually for 7 months after Hurricane Maria, and the least they paid me $5,000 a week.
Yeah.
So it was $20,000 a month, and then everything was paid for. So like, to me, that was the most money I've ever made. It was actually worked hourly to do that, but I had like a minimum. So like, I worked as many hours as I can. I was making $40 an hour. So in the beginning, I was working 20 hours a day. I was like, all right, 40 hours, 20 hours a day, $800 a day. I was like, I'll do that as long as I can until I can't do it anymore. And then things slowed down, but the minimum was 5,000. So 20,000 a month, right? But like, it's not real life, because I was actually, right over there is actually where I was working, and we were staged. It's so crazy, it's like full circle.
By the way, this view is insane. Like, I absolutely love, like, just seeing this walking in. It's like, it's gorgeous out here, man.
I think it's one of the best views in Puerto Rico, actually. Yeah. Someone was like bragging to me about their view and like showed me a picture. I was like, oh yeah, it's a nice view. I didn't want to like, I was like, cool, that's really nice. You know, I didn't want to like send them a picture back. You know? So I was working, and like, I was making 20,000, but like, it wasn't real, right? Because like, you know, Puerto Rico didn't have power, and you know, I was working all the time, so you're not really enjoying. So all I was doing is, it was before my insurance, I was planning on opening my insurance business. So I'm like, I'm gonna save as much money as I can, because when you open a business, like, I don't want to be stressed about money.
Correct.
So it was like really like a God moment, actually, the way it all happened. And that's a whole nother podcast, but so then I started my insurance business. Well, my first 6 months of my insurance business, I made $20,000. So very humbling, because now I'm like, you know, when I was here, I was like telling people what to do. I was running like logistics, operations, making sure manpower is right. Like, I was in an office. Now I'm like out there knocking on doors, you know, trying to sell insurance to people. And I made like 20 grand my first 6 months. And then
in your first 6 months, not your first month, first 6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
It's crazy. So I tell people, like, yes, I made $1 million in my first 36 months of having my license. But understand, the first 6 months I made 20 grand, and the next 2.5 years I made $980,000. You know, and it's like, and it just progressively got more, because it's like, oh, okay, $1 million in 3 years, that means 333 a year. It's like, no, it was like 257. Like, it was insane.
The compound effect.
Yes. But I got to the point where I was making 20 grand a month again. And like as soon as I did, and that was like real money now, because this thing, and working in Puerto Rico, I knew it was like a temporary thing. So like, holy crap, I'm making, and it was override, so it was passive. So I'm like, wow, 20 grand. So like once I did that, and up until that point, I was living in like apartment in Naples, Florida. So it was
wow, not too far south from where I'm at in Tampa right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I wanted to move to Florida to be closer to my son and get back by the ocean. Yeah. And so I just found like a cheap apartment that wasn't in the ghetto, but it was a cheaper apartment. And, had carpet, no granite or anything like that, like nothing nice. Yeah. And we had a futon, just a little futon as a couch. I don't think there was like any furniture. We might have even had a TV.
Entrepreneur life.
Yeah, like we really had almost no furniture. Yeah. And I got up to where I was making 20 grand a month. Like nothing changed in my life. Like everything was the same. Like driving the same car and everything. And once I got to that point, I was like, all right, I could buy a house now. And then I started house shopping. And then it was crazy because one of my good friends now, Vito, I talked to him. The real estate agent kept sending me to like, hey, you gotta talk to Vito. I was like, no, I'm gonna use Navy Federal. They'll give me a good rate. Like I'm a veteran, I'm gonna use Navy Federal. So talk to Vito. I was like,
you are a veteran?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for your service, man. I didn't know that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Navy then?
Army.
Okay.
Yeah, Navy Federal is just credit.
Beret?
What's that? No, just
I mean, I wouldn't put it past you. I mean, I see your workouts, man. I wouldn't be surprised if you are. So
just a regular Army guy.
Still. Anyway, yes, thank you.
so I talked to this guy Vito, and this is before I was making any money. I was like, yeah, I got my insurance license. I'm gonna build a business and this and that. And he's just like listening to me. And later on, after I got the loan, we ended up becoming really, really good friends. We're like, real good friends now. Man, he's like, when I was listening to you on the phone, I was like, this guy's full of crap. This guy's never going to be doing anything he says he's going to do. I'm never going to be able to get this guy qualified for a loan. And it's cool because when I started getting qualified, I ended up building a house and my income went from $20,000 to over $40,000 in like a 6-month period because he had to like he had to check up my income again because it took so long to build the house because COVID happened.
So this was during that time.
Yeah. So he looked at my income and he's like, how the hell did your income double? I was like, insurance, man. Insurance. So
everyone hears insurance and they're like, oh, they start yawning. And
I know, it's so boring. don't do it. It's oversaturated. Like, don't do it. I know. No, it's crazy. People don't really understand.
They don't understand it. Yeah.
They get so caught up in the widget, right? They get caught up in like the thing. So like, for me, I worked in Africa for a year.
Oh wow, okay.
Like, dude, I've done
full of surprises.
If someone's like, hey, David, you want a job making $100,000 a year, and I'm making 40 grand a year, the answer is yes. Like, not like, what is it? Where do I have to go? What do I have to do? The answer is just yes.
Yep.
And like so many people are like, well, what do I have to do for $100,000? Exactly. Like, hold on, you just said like, you can't provide for your children. You just said you can't keep up with your bills. You just said your life sucks. And you said you have no money. And I just offered you opportunity. And your answer was, what do I have to do? Not like, when do I start, right?
What's the cost of being barely able to like make, it's different.
We see it every day, right?
Yeah, you see it all the time. But like, so having that experience from, you got military, you got different landscaping young to like all the different people you're connected to. Who would you say really made a pinnacle influence in your transition out of becoming a drug addict?
Yeah, so out of becoming a drug addict, definitely, so crazy story, right? I was living in New Jersey and I was finally like lost everything, rock bottom, the whole deal. And I was like, man, I got to make a change. And at the time, like I didn't really have a relationship with my father, but I needed like a place to go. And my sister's like, oh, you can stay with me. But I don't think, she was doing like magnificently great, and neither was my father, but she was in like Idaho or...
Oh, wow, far out there.
She was like, no, I don't think it was Idaho, Utah. She was in Utah, I think, right? And then my father was in Louisiana, and I worked in the oil business at the time, and I know Louisiana had like oil rigs and stuff like that, yes. And I was like, I kind of want to work on an oil rig because I heard you do like 6 months out of the year and you make like 80 grand, and who doesn't want to make 80 grand working 6 months and having 6 months off?
Yeah.
So I called up my dad and like, he's like, yeah, you could come here. So I like drove, I was with a girl at the time, we were both, struggling, and we drove to Louisiana, and like it was my goal to get clean. And, I ended up staying on my grandma's pullout couch. Like I had nothing, like I didn't have the car, it wasn't my car we were driving, it was her car. Like had like 2 bags of clothes, and we get there and, I didn't know how to stay clean yet, right? Like obviously things slow down because I didn't have the same connections, the same people,
Right.
didn't have a lot of that stuff. But what happened, the girl I was with, she started getting worse. And she started, because her drug of choice was like where we're at now, Louisiana, and she started like stealing from my family.
Oh, wow.
I was like, listen, you got to get out of here. Like I don't want to be part of this. Like steal. There's never an excuse to steal for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe those people at the 12-step meeting can help you. So we didn't have, her car broke at that time, so we didn't have a car. So I was like, listen, we're gonna take a taxi to the 12-step meeting. And we get there and we go inside and I just start crying. And I don't know why I'm crying.
Yeah.
And at the time, I know now it's definitely a God thing, right? But I'm like crying. And like for me, I'm like, I'm not even there for me. I'm like there for her. Because in my head, like my ego is like, oh, Dave, you're okay. You know what's going on. Meanwhile, I'm sleeping on a pullout couch in my grandma's like 1,000-square-foot apartment, who's like 70 years old.
Wow.
Right. I have no job. I have no car. I have 2 bags of old clothes.
How old are you at this point?
That was 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was 32 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, my life sucked. In the meeting, like you should do 90 meetings in 90 days. They kept talking about. And again, like an ego thing, I'm trying to save this girl, right? When I need the saving, I'm like, listen, I was like, that's a good idea. Let's do 90 meetings in 90 days. And she didn't take the suggestion, and she ended up in jail a bunch of times afterwards. And I don't know where she's at now.
Yeah.
But I did take suggestions, and like I never used again since then. So like that was the big change, because when you're so used to substances and using them all the time, and then you like remove that, and then like do the stuff you have to do to keep it removed, you start learning about like self-development, and you start learning about habits and doing the next right thing and doing things you don't want to do, right? And like
100%.
keeping commitments, and like these are all like basic things that like will help you with drug addiction. But then like after that, I heard a Tony Robbins audio that I found. I didn't really know who Tony Robbins was, but I found the audio. It said, if you want to be successful, find someone successful and model it. I was like, oh wow, because they say the same thing in the 12-step meeting, but that's to stay clean. But like now he's talking about like businesses and like money and life and stuff like that. Right. And that's when the transition took place.
And who was that you followed to kind of like understand business at that point?
Yeah, so at first, like, I used to listen to a lot of speaker tapes.
Okay.
And it was, but like people in recovery, right?
Oh, okay.
So I used to listen to them. So I was like working offshore. I'm like cleaning toilets, mopping floors, and I got my headphones in. Everyone's probably think I'm using music, but I'm listening to like, people, that had a really rough life, that got clean 20, 30 years, and like they're sharing their journey and stuff. And I'm just listening to that and being motivated. Yeah. And then, and I used to listen to those like crazy, people, I was like, hey, you gotta listen to this. Hey, you should listen to this when I'm sending them to people. No one's paying attention to me. But then I started pirating, Pirate Bay.
No, I actually don't.
Pirate Bay anyway. So I started like looking for like audiobooks, right? Now I'm like seeking all this information. So that's how I actually ran into the Tony Robbins thing. Like it wasn't even like, it was just like I found it, right? It found me. And so I'm listening to this Tony Robbins thing about that, and I'm like, oh wow. So I'm like, all right, I need more. So now I'm like searching anything from Tony Robbins. Then I'm searching anything self-development. Then I found Grant Cardone, Be Obsessed or Be Average.
Oh, yes.
And he talks about that, just change the obsession. I'm like, oh my God, this stuff makes so much sense. And now I'm just like feeding myself all this information, all this knowledge, and it's like giving me hope, and it's giving me like new breath. And then it's just like, just keep, everyone else is like doing stuff like for their leisure and like everything. Like I was in a sober living house for a little bit, and like these people, they thought I was crazy because all I did was like clean, work out, and work. That was it. I was repoing cars at the time. So like you could work 80, 90 hours a week. Like when you repoing cars, like I was just, like if I could see house signs, I'm working, and then I would work before the sun came up. I'd grab all the ones on GPS that had GPS, because you could find them, right? Because you could see exactly where they're at. But like once it was dark, it's really hard to see house. It's hard to find cars when it's darker. But people thought I was nuts.
Possibly a little harder.
Yes, because you can't see the house number, so it just starts becoming a pain in the neck. So like, so I worked till dark, but I worked 7 days a week. Like I was just working like crazy. It was I made more money than I ever made at that time, and that was my first commission job. It was just a crazy time because, like I said, I'm living in a house, and they all think I'm nuts. But like it's funny because they all follow my social media now, and they're I've definitely had people throughout the years just like, dude, I thought you're a nutcase, but man, congratulations, you made it basically. You did it.
How does that feel when people say that?
I mean, them telling me I made it doesn't make me feel any better because I made it. it's really them recognizing and hoping they have some hope that they
Yes.
can make it too.
Well, and you also feel the job's not even close to done. Like,
No, we're just getting started. That's it. I'm on a sprint till I get to 50. I don't know what I'm gonna do with 50. I just take a breath and then run some more. But like that's the number I'm running for right now.
Do you ever feel like the addiction you have from drugs, it never actually like left you, it just changed into a different path?
Yeah, so they talk about that in the 12-step meetings.
Okay.
So they call it replacement, right? So, but it's replacing with another substance. So like a lot of times, and that's why like I had a problem staying clean is because I was a heroin addict. So every time like my life started getting really uncomfortable, I lost a job because of it or something happened because of it, I was like, okay, I got to stop doing it. And then I like detox myself and go through all that. But then I would still drink or, do some other things.
I see some other things,
right?
yeah.
And like what it'd do is it would eventually lead back into that. Right. And then that's what I learned. I learned I needed complete abstinence if I really wanted to stay away from that substance because no one around me would ever say I had a drinking problem. Right. But eventually, a couple drinks in me, I'm like, you know what? Doing some heroin sounds like a good idea right now. Right. It doesn't sound like a good idea right now for me because my head's level headed. Right. But when you drink, you don't make the same decisions.
Yes, yep.
But yeah, so I look at just the replacement I've always been obsessed with anything that I get into.
Yeah.
Even like video games. Did you play video games?
Oh yeah. Dude, I would play it till like, I mean, man, I remember, I don't know if you remember the what is that? I've got the Asian nerd in me with a Star Wars Battlefront. But dude, I remember going over in high school to my friend's like place or whatever, and we'd play Battlefront. We wouldn't sleep. We'd like pretend to his parents that we were like asleep, but then we'd play through the entire night. And it sounds so silly, but it's like, man, I just remember those days. They were great. Right. But yeah, I would play like, especially when there was a time where I was first building my book of business and insurance, that I literally was like, it was work. And then my wife at the time, actually my ex-wife, right? We were kind of together at that point, but like I was working through and then I would pull out some mics hard and I would just be like slamming away on a video game because I had to get the edge off. Like a lot of people don't know that about me and I don't mind sharing it, but it's like, because I'm like the fitness guy or whatever. But yeah, that was my first year in insurance.
Mike's Hard Lemonade, same thing. It's it.
Mike's Hard.
I appreciate you getting so vulnerable.
Absolutely. That's where I went from. I just remember being a very obsessed per se, and I was watching actually with Amanda. We were actually with my parents watching a home video. My dad was always about recording home videos, and he saw me like obsessed over just like at 2 years old trying to get this round thing called a basketball into this Fisher Price hoop. And like we didn't grow up with a lot of money. Like it was just like Philippine immigrants or whatever. That's kind of my background. But it was like those moments I remember seeing that and watching. I was like, wow, I'm obsessed from a very young age. And I actually in 5th grade, I went to a Catholic grade school, like in Portland, Oregon, but like all of them were in drugs. Like I was offered weed in like 4th grade, and so like everyone around me was, but like thank God for my assistant basketball coach because he got me addicted to the gym. Because he brought me and I was tired of being pushed around like a small little guard because I played basketball. Like I had a dream to be in the NBA. So that was my dream. And he's like, hey, like, cause all of them would kind of go after like practice or whatever. They're drinking. It was crazy. We're like that young and they're kind of doing whatever. It is what it is. But I was in the gym with my assistant basketball coach. He'd wake me up Saturdays. We'd go work out together or whatever. And what was I 10, 11 years old. And ever since then, I've never missed the gym. So that's where it started. But he saved me from a path because I know I have a very addictive personality. Like I put my mind to something, like I would be right there. Like we're a product of our environment growing up. And then what we do with that as we age, I feel like that's a choice.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because I was talking to one of the marketers that I use and I was like, I need to find more people that were obsessed with video games. Right, because it's like that constant grind of like wanting to like see what that next level is.
It is.
Because that's what business is to me. It's like, why do you work so much? I want to unlock the next level. I don't know what it is yet. And like that's why I played video games. Like, oh, let's see what happens when you beat this guy.
Correct. Same
thing.
It is. It's weird. It's weird because a lot of people say it as like, oh, you shouldn't get involved in this or that could be a vice or whatever. But sometimes, depending on how you use it, it's always about how you use it. It's never the tool itself. I mean, maybe there's some that maybe it is the tool itself, but aside from that though, I feel like it's what you do with it. Like money, it could be, I'm trying to think of what else. Working out, like too much of everything. I mean, we're not in the gym constantly. I know you get up at God knows when in the morning, but I'm trying to get back to that because I remember the most consistent I was in my life of a lot of other things when I was up at 4 a.m. and getting to the gym. So, but what habits do you feel you've been able to build because of not just your background, your story, but where you also see yourself going?
Yeah, I think talking about waking up early, right? So that's a big one. Now with that, I don't use an alarm clock to wake up, right? So I wake up early because I go to sleep early. So
You've never used an alarm clock.
So I learned that sleep is super important. Well, we all know it's important, right? But I don't think we understand the level of importance it is. So like if sleep is important, and for longevity, if it's like, what's the best thing I can do for longevity? And it's sleep better, right? What's the best thing I put in my body? It's like olive oil, right? So it's like, so if sleeping better is the best thing you do to, slow down your rate of aging or increase your health span, then why would you set an alarm clock to mess that up?
Huh.
Right? So it's like a simple thing. So because you're waking yourself up when your body, like your body would have woke itself up already if it was done. So if that's the case, then I don't use an alarm clock. So the only time I ever use an alarm clock is if I have like a flight where I have to wake up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, but that's a very rare.
Twice in the last 2 years, maybe I use an alarm clock. And then usually when I do turn it on, I usually wake up like 99% of the time, no matter what time it is. If I set my alarm for 3, I wake up at 2. So I end up not doing it. But like,
what's your key to getting to bed early enough to be able to wake up at that time?
Non-negotiable, right? You just got to make it like you just got to, like, trust me, there's times I'm like, I still want to do stuff. Like I want to finish this movie or I want to talk to this person or I want to finish up this project. But it's like, oh, bedtime. Like you just, it's
just like clockwork.
It's just your priority, right? So it's like anyone could do whatever they want to do. The problem is they don't make it a priority, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, I want to do that. Like people ask me like, Dave, do you speak Spanish? Like, no, I don't speak Spanish. You want to learn? Yeah, I would love to learn. Well, why don't you speak it? Because I haven't made it a priority yet.
Yep.
People will say, oh, because I don't have time. You have the time.
We have time. It's not.
You just didn't make it the priority. I'm sure if I made it the number one priority, I'd probably be speaking Spanish a little bit more, right? Or I would like be speaking Spanish in a long enough timeline, whatever that timeline is.
Well, I don't think sometimes when you're driving around here, you don't have a choice. Like at least read it. You're like, oh, Salida, exit. Like
I just guessed.
You just guessed. Yeah, that one. Because I've noticed that being here in Puerto Rico. It's my first time in Puerto Rico, so I'm like, everything's in Spanish. I'm like, all right. I'm trying to remember from my high school days when I studied some. Fortunately, my wife can speak fluent. She's Puerto Rican. But yeah, that's kind of what's helping me. But yeah, I think just going back to the habit though, of like when you set out to prioritize something, and whether you're trying to find obsession for a lot of the listeners here, right? You're trying to find that obsession or trying to find that drive, as they say, or find what you're passionate about. I don't know if you could share on when you reflect on what Hormozi said recently. It's like being passionate about something is not about finding something you love. It's about what are you willing to endure through the worst of it.
Yeah, I think, same thing with like insurance, right? So it's like, I don't want to sell insurance. Like, all right, well, what kind of lifestyle do you want? And like, what's your plan to get that lifestyle, right? Because it doesn't seem like you have a plan, but like, I have a plan. I have a plan for you, and like, you don't want to do it. It's like, all right, like, name one successful person that only does what they want to do. Like I don't think you can, right? Wow. Like every successful person, like people always like,
I'm stealing that from you because I can't think of.
I just came up with it right now. So like it's not, because what's the secret of success? Doing things you don't want to do on a regular basis. Like that I say all the time. Like there's plenty of things that I don't want to do, right? I'm an introvert. Like people don't know that about me. Like I'm an introvert.
I am too, actually.
If it was up to me, I wouldn't be around people at all. I wouldn't be on the podcast. But like these are things I have to do to accomplish the results I want to accomplish, right? To reach more people, I need to be on a podcast, right? I need to be on a Zoom daily. I need to go to events. I need to speak at events. When I'm at events, I need to talk to people. That's the other thing. Like I want to be the guy that sits in the back that doesn't even talk to anyone. Like I don't need recognition. Like I don't need any of that stuff. But I know those are all part of the things that I need to do to accomplish the goal that I want to accomplish, or to like. It's not even about the goal I want to accomplish, because the goal I want to accomplish, hopefully like the goal I end up accomplishing is way past that. Like I'm just trying to unlock that next level.
Yep. And the next level is, where do you feel? What do you feel the next couple of years is for you? You don't have to get crazy specific. But.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been interviewing a lot of Medicare people lately.
Okay.
So I typically, I'm not doing one-on-one interviews anymore with life insurance. I usually have my managers do it, and you work with a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, yep.
And but Medicare, I'm trying to put some effort into Medicare this year. So I'm personally doing interviews. So I put some organic stuff out on social media. I'm looking for Medicare people and annuity people. And I'm getting a ton of people that want to talk.
Awesome.
And someone asked me, is like, well, what's your goal? Like how many Medicare agents or apps or whatever? I was like, honestly, I don't have any baseline, and I know everyone talks about like goals and you should have a goal and be specific about your goal. But like my thing is if I'm working 16 hours a day, you know, or 14 hours a day, and I'm doing that like most days a week, you know, definitely Monday through Friday and Saturdays and Sundays soon, almost Saturdays and Sundays as well. Then it's like the goal, to me, the goal doesn't matter because I'm so focused on the activity.
You
know, and
it's almost like you focus on the process.
Yeah, because like when I first started selling insurance, I didn't know like a lot of times people will make goals and they have like no data to make it. Now I know my insurance business, right? Now it's real simple. We had 1,000 agents last year organically, like not even trying. This year we want to hire 5,000 agents. I can be real specific because I know what I got to do, how much money I got to spend. I know every single piece of it. But like I don't really know what it takes to grow a Medicare business because I have no experience. So I'm going to focus on what I can control, which is the activity. And that's what people should be focused on. Because so many agents are like, yeah, I want to make 100 grand this year. And I'm like, okay, but based off your lead spend, your activity, your time, your efforts, like you're not doing anything.
It's not matching up.
Yeah, nothing's matching up. So let's focus on getting 5 presentations a day. Let's start with that. Because if you do that, then you will make 100 grand a year. But until then, like, we're just making stuff up.
What's like your personal mantra when you're going through, just working through your product? Because I'm sure you don't wake up every day and you're like, yeah, I'm so excited to do this. Like, what do you do to get yourself in that flow state?
I actually do wake up so excited.
Well, if you do it every single day? No bad days. David's got no bad days. We heard that.
you know, I think...
No, that's amazing though. I'm not trying to make fun of you.
No, you can make fun of me. It's fine. You know, obviously there are some bad days, but for the majority of them, again, it's just like okay, when you played video games, did you ever say, oh, I don't feel like playing this? Is there a bad day, right? You were always like thinking about how to get to that next level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
no,
like
right.
So it's the same thing. Like once you get so far and you get so obsessed about what you're doing, it's not work anymore, you know? So it's like I wake up like, all right, cool. Like I got time. Like let me start getting started on this. Because when you're a business owner, there's so many things you could do. Now through that process, bad things happen. Just like in the video game, you die at a spot that you normally don't die at, or like something happens, or you can't figure out how to get past the part and you get frustrated, right? That's normal, but like you're like super like really dialed into like continue to go and like get to that next level. And that's how I feel like, old cars, right? I like old cars. I think they're cool. I don't know a ton about them, but like when I see them, I'm like, man, that looks cool. Or I like to own that. Or you see someone on Instagram, and then you see people restore them, and like they're sanding like metal with like the sander, and I hate that noise and all that stuff. And I'm watching that, and I'm like, man, that looks like work. But like the guy that's doing that in his garage, who like knows what he's building and like understands the finished product, it's probably not really work to him.
It's probably not.
You know, and that like, and like when I first started my insurance business, I mean, I was doing 3 cold brews a day, like whatever I can, like listen to Eric Thomas on like full blast, like
E.T., some E.T. in there.
Whatever I can to get soaked and psyched up for it, right? So like that was it, and there was, but then it's like you start doing this stuff over and over again, and then you start getting some traction, and then you get to like, wow, I can't believe I did this. And then you're like, oh my God, I wonder what I could do if I keep going. And then like, that's the place you want to get to. So like to get to that place, you got to do whatever it takes. Like I stopped going to the gym. I stopped worrying about what I was eating. Like things that are really important to me because I was like, all right, I can't do it all anymore. Like if I want to be successful at this, I need to stop. Like I don't have the energy to do the gym, right? I don't have the time to eat the way I want to. And people are like, oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, I look at everything like a pie, right? Like a pie. Yeah. And with that pie, you do have time to do different things, but it's taken away from another thing, right? So for me, I was like, all right, what if I gave this whole pie into learning this business? Like everything else I'll just deal with later, right? And now I eat really good and I work out really good and I got my health back and I slowed down my rate of aging and all these things. And I could do it at like the highest level now with not worrying about money or time because I gave the whole pie to one thing that now gives me all this other time. It made my pie bigger, really, right? And like now I have more time and more energy and more money and more resources because I got zeroed in on one thing.
Did you ever read the book, The One Thing?
No. Yeah, just explain it?
Yeah, you just explain the entire thing. I was like, dude, you don't even read.
You stole that from me.
Yeah, I didn't steal it from you. You literally said it
all the time.
I'm thinking like you're talking about the principle of the one thing, and then you just said, I'm like, there it is.
That's a good book. I need to get that book out to people because to me, it's like that's how my mind thought. Because actually, when I got my insurance license at that time, because remember, I just came back from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, things were super, super busy. But like towards the end, things were getting, fixed and everything like that. So things got really slow. And I was in St. Croix for 2.5 months. I was in St. Thomas for 2.5 months. And I was going to the gym 4 hours a day. Like honestly,
what are you doing 4 hours? I've always wondered when people
warm up
work
for
out.
an hour.
Okay, for an hour.
Cool down for like an hour. Well, yeah, basically, much. Right? And I mean, but like a warm up's a workout, right?
Yeah, it is.
And then like 2 hours of like hard work, and then from there, like I was just like eating perfect. And like I wasn't doing anything else. Like I kind of regret it because I didn't like explore the island because I'm too tired. Like, hey, you want to do something? Like my body needs to rest.
Yeah.
My body needs to rest.
4-hour workout.
But I was in like the best shape ever, right?
Yeah.
And then I got my insurance license, and I'm like, all right, I got to keep going to the gym. And I was like, dude,
you have to.
I need that energy for this.
Yeah.
And that made it. Yeah. But it worked out.
Yeah.
Didn't know, and again, it's like running that race and not knowing where the finish line is.
Yeah.
But it worked out beautifully.
Do you ever believe in like balance as an entrepreneur? Because I know we get asked that all the time, but.
So if someone's listening,
yeah,
and you are completely happy with your life, right? Like you won. If you're making 60 grand a year or 40 grand a year, but like you're completely comfortable, you don't have to worry about anything, you have good family life and everything like that, like 100% you won. But if you want to do something world class, if you want to do something that no one else done, if you want to, shake something up, or like there's no such thing as balance, And if you look at anyone that's done that in history, I listened to Steve Jobs' biography recently. That guy was a nut. Like 100% a nut. I'm listening to Elon Musk's now, right? Yep. We already know he's a nut. But like Steve Jobs was a freaking nut,
It's funny, the people who are the craziest tend to do the craziest things.
Well, you have to. Like you have to be crazy, think about it. I was working 14 hours a day, probably 6 days a week for my first 6 months, and I made $20,000 in that first 6 months. Hurricane Michael hit the Panhandle, and I went and worked there for 17 days and made 30 grand.
On the oil refinery that we're talking about?
No, doing disaster work. Basically doing what I was doing in Puerto Rico.
Got it, yeah.
And had an opportunity to like go back there and do a bunch more work and probably make, overall millions of dollars, right? Yeah. I was like, no, I'm gonna stick with insurance. Like who does that? Like completely insane, right? Like I just took the little 3-week break to, make a little bit of money, and then went right back to insurance where I wasn't making any money. And then that 6-month period passed, and then I think like January I made like 4 grand, February I made like 6, and then it just kept growing. I ended up making over $200,000 that first full year, and there's nothing that happened that would let me predict that. Like there's nothing, right? And that's the thing, like there's no prediction. I made 200 grand that year, and then the following year I made over $500,000. Like there's nothing to predict that, right? And then when it happens, you're like, holy crap. Like you get the 1099 shows up, like I made $500,000 last year. I made $500,000. I'm making $50,000 a month, like it's insane. The year after that, over 700, and then the year after that, $1 million. I'm like, holy crap, I got my insurance license 4 years ago, and I just made $1 million freaking dollars passively. So there's nothing that predicts that, but like that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't insane enough to keep going when nothing made sense and nothing was logical.
Sense. And you didn't get distracted by shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, I did for a little bit, right? But
okay. Tiny bit, but
and that almost made me quit, because you start looking at the greener grass on the other side.
You do.
And then, thank goodness, I was like in a mature enough place to be like, I don't know these people. I don't know these people and they're salespeople, right? I don't know these people telling me this, that.
That's crazy, because some people think like they see what I'm doing now with Jeremy. Little do people know, I started sales training back in 2012. I was in the Amway business and network marketing for like 10 years. And I probably led anywhere between about 130 to 150 distributors.
Man, we didn't get you back into insurance. Man.
But again, it wasn't like all at once. It was like over the years, but I was constantly teaching people, like going out to like a grocery store and just cold connecting with someone. And all of a sudden, that's how I met my best friend, was through that. We'd contacted each other in a Clark shoe store of all places, and he's actually from, I'm not sure how far away from in New Jersey. he is from you, but he grew up in New Jersey as well, so I'd have to ask him. But
Jersey's not that big, so we're probably neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people. We're all like in this little spot.
Little spot. But that's like you said though. It takes time for that to build, and now it's just I understand how to train a lot differently, and I think sometimes because of the 10 years it took of like actually constantly being in sales, doing it myself, making the cold calls, making all of that stuff, and like all that. Because you see, I mean, the range of questions your team asks me, it's like it's not.
You're fast, man. You're on top of it.
There's nothing that can prepare you for that other than just doing it for a long time without. Because so many times, so many people, I no longer am a part. Well, I still kind of technically am, but like I gave that business like 10 years. Had some ups and downs. It wasn't ever the success, but like success started happening in commercial insurance. So sometimes like what you put yourself into, even though you stayed faithful for it, it shows up maybe somewhere else when you have that next vehicle, whatever it is. Like you had from landscaping, right? And then different things you were doing, even what you learned from the oil rigs to actually, hey, you stick it out and you actually take time to let the obsession work for you.
Absolutely, man. You used to do straight cold calls, right?
Oh yeah.
That's how you got started?
When I started, so I started in the Amway business at 19. That was my first sales experience. I was also selling
my Quick Start. You know,
that's the same thing.
Yeah, I was with Quick Start when I was in the Army for a very short period of time. I didn't do it. I went to a meeting and got pumped up. That's about it. And then had a meeting and got like at a house. But
I was absolutely obsessed with it. Like but that's the thing though. It's like people thought I was crazy. I was 19 in college, working 3 jobs because I paid myself through school because I didn't have any money, right? Because I was from an immigrant family, oldest of 6 kids. My dad made like 60 grand a year as a teacher for 6 kids in Oregon, where it's already more expensive. So again, I love my parents. Like I love everything they gave, but we just didn't have a lot. And so I always had to work, and I was doing that and going to school full time to be a physical therapist. I'm in a pretty, I guess, fairly prestigious university. I wouldn't say Marquette's like not up there, but it's decent, private school, right? I was doing that, and then all of a sudden I gave up all of that. Like I'm working with like the Marquette men's basketball team, and like I had the internship that only 2 get selected to out of like the 2,000 who applied, to work with guys like Jimmy Butler, Jay Crowder, all those guys, and I gave it up. I gave it up because I saw a dream in business through the Amway business. So I'll always thank the business for that. I didn't know it would land to where I'm at now, working with Jeremy, and arguably probably one of the greatest sales influencers there is now. But like I didn't know that was gonna lead there. I just like stuck with it and for long enough when I saw a lot of people quit. A lot of people, but they never even put in the effort either. And I just stayed with it, and I always did the work, and I did the work, and there were just some things like in mentorship wise where you get capped in those businesses if like the person above you doesn't have like bigger dreams than you.
Right.
That's the hardest part, is like you need to be chasing people that have bigger dreams than yourself, because otherwise your dream, if they can't fit in theirs, Hormozis talk about it all the time. I study them like a hawk, but they talk about it where it's like your dream has to fit in that other person's.
Yeah,
so who do you like look up to as far as like that leader who you're constantly having in your mind? I mean, obviously I know Jeremy, we're coaching your sales team and stuff, but outside of that though.
Yeah, so I listen to a lot of Hormozi stuff as well. I went on a kick. We're at the gym. That's all I listened to. So I was getting a couple hours of him a day.
Amazing.
I actually went back to like his very first podcast.
Wow.
I was trying to consume all of it. I haven't consumed it all.
Man, that might be something I want to do.
But I consumed quite a few years. You know what happened? I was doing it with like Apple Podcast.
Oh yes.
And it was weird because it was just continue going for a little bit, and then it was just where it's like keep stopping. And then it's like, and then you had to like open it back up and like, but like when it was continue going, it was just like cranking out podcast after podcast. And in the beginning, like when he first started, there were lots, it was gym launch when he first started.
Oh yes, that's
So it's like you get to see his whole process. So it was gym launch, and some are shorter. So I did that. I listened to Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah, of course.
He got his start in insurance, so I listened to him quite a bit. But books, definitely, Ryan Stewman's a guy that I respect.
Were you part of Apex? Yeah, you mentioned that, right?
I did Apex Executives for a year.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, so I did that for a year. I'm still part of Apex, but I was part of his executive program, which was, there was, 7-figure people, 8-figure people, and maybe 9-figure people too, like some pretty big.
Fantastic.
What he does a really good job with is, he attracts a lot of really good people, right? There's some influencers out there, we won't say anyone's names, but they'll get money from people, but like the people they're getting to pay the money aren't really that successful, right? They're on like that Kool-Aid thing, where like Ryan Stewman, like he attracts like millionaires that are like paying him for coaching and services or paying to be part of his network and stuff like that. So like when you're part of Apex, that's the network you're in. So you're in and I always, I'm not really active in the group, but I get people send referrals. Like if someone asks about insurance, dude, hey, so-and-so told me I should go talk to you. Referrals. So I'm trying to get more active because
that's incredible.
I'm like, this guy sent me referrals. I was like, so what do you do now again? Like, how could I send you referrals back? But yeah, they got a really good group.
So in that executive group, like, do you get like personal, like one-on-one time with Stuman then?
So the way I did it for a year. It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But there was like a monthly Zoom meeting with him.
Yeah.
I think we had like a weekly meeting. Definitely a lot of like courses, a lot of course stuff, like a lot of like digital content.
Awesome.
And then I think it was like every quarter there was a flying event.
Okay.
So you're flying with him.
Yeah.
He also had an event with Jeremy, and then I did. We went to that was you had to pay for that.
Yep.
But I brought like 10 people there, so
nice.
They actually invited me to eat dinner with Jeremy, which they had a huge high ticket for that. I forgot how much they were charging for that. But he let me do that for free.
Oh wow!
Because
that's a perk.
It was like a high ticket event. There's 100 people. I brought 10%, so I guess I got their attention.
Yeah, I remember that event. I remember when they were kind of talking about it, promoting it, hosting it. But
it was the Converge or something like that. Like they did a good job marketing.
It's super important to be in those rooms, because I know you know that.
Well, that's why we're here today, right? So like I joined Apex. And then from Apex, became friends with Sean Pollard.
Yep.
Me and him got real close. And then from that, he got me on.
Sean's a G, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard he was on this podcast. He was on this show not too long ago. Yeah, I'll send it to you afterward. Yeah, not a video. But he has a pretty remarkable background too. So
he's great. So so I joined Apex Executives and then got close with Sean. And then from there, Sean got me on Jeremy Meyer's podcast the first time.
Yep.
Then I decided to be a client later on, which got me on a podcast the second time, right? Which got me introduced to you. But none of that stuff would have happened if I wasn't, didn't pay the 60 grand or whatever it was to be Apex Executives.
You just don't know where it's going to lead you. There's no way to tell.
And it's, people look at the, when people sign up for someone, for instance, let's just say Jeremy Meyer's sales training, right?
Yeah.
So I signed up for that, right? So it's like, all right, cool. So like you're paying for the training. But like, there's so much other stuff you get, the relationships. I might pay for the training and then meet somebody, or hey, I might talk you into getting into insurance again. That will cover.
We'll talk after.
That will cover the whole. That will cover like any dollar I ever paid into Jeremy Meyer. You know what I mean? Like I probably owe him some more money at that point, right? So it's same thing with Apex Executives. Like I joined that, but like that got me on Jeremy Meyer's podcast. Me being on his podcast, I attracted agents. Doing this podcast may attract some agents. The relationship with Sean may lead into something else at some time. So like, there's so many different things, and the only way like, people are so scared to spend money to like learn or mastermind or join something, but like the only way you don't like, it's so easy to get the value out. You literally have to like not participate and like not listen or talk or it's even going to events. People are like, oh well, the $2,000 tickets. Not too much closer than a $20 ticket. But like, yeah, but you're sitting next to people that spent $2,000 on a ticket.
It changes.
Introduce yourself to some of them. Talk to some of them.
Yep.
Someone knows there's something you don't know.
Yep.
Like one piece of information. Learning how to sell insurance made me millions and millions of dollars. And this happened because I reached out to my friend Joey. Joey, we grew up in the same town. We were actually in a network marketing company together.
Okay, all right.
But like we were friends before that.
Yep.
And his parents owned a lot of nice Italian restaurants.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Okay,
so
great.
Joey came from money. Joey came from the family I used to wish I had, right?
So Joey like Tribbiani from Friends.
Exactly. So I reached out to him. I was like, listen, I need a business opportunity and I just want some advice. He just started a gym in like the Miami area, and he went from like training people in his apartment to like a 5,000 square foot facility real fast. I was like, I think I want to move to Florida. I was like, maybe I'll start a gym. Would you mentor me? He's like, I will. If you want, and then we started talking about some different franchise opportunities, and then he's like, why don't you talk to so-and-so? It was an acquaintance to me. We went to the same high school, but him and they were really close friends. He's like, he's doing really good with insurance. That one thing right there changed my whole entire life. So
it gave me chills because it's just like, it's such a fine thread.
It is. And like, just imagine I paid $100,000 to be in a mastermind room for that to happen. It's still, 100x my money and still Xing, right? Like,
yes, it's still
like it's just one little thing. But like I think the one big thing that I do differently than other people is I will ask people questions until they get annoyed.
Yeah.
Like I have no ego at all. Like,
yeah,
you
like
know
how
what I mean?
I'm asking you continuous questions right now.
Well, it's a podcast. It happens.
Yeah.
It's a podcast. But like when I meet somebody, like for instance, I told you how I ended up in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Like I didn't know this guy, Edward, right? Good friend now, but like I didn't know him. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see where he sits in the bus. I'm gonna make sure he sits first. I'm gonna sit right next to him. Like I purposely lined myself up in line so like I would be able to like see where he sits so I could sit right next to him. I'm like, hey man, you really don't pay taxes? You know, like people don't do that stuff, right?
You're so inquisitive. Like I think we'll kind of like finish up here shortly, but like I think the biggest thing I feel you can expand on it, right? Aside from asking good questions, right? Because like I think the people that are most successful just want to know like how things work. Like it doesn't matter. Like I can learn from this person, I can learn from the janitor, I can learn from. There's naturally inquisitive. What are two other things you would tell our listeners? Obviously we've covered, you know, from your background to obviously the multi-millionaire success you've had now. It's incredible to watch and continue watching. But like from being able to continue it and sustain it. Because I don't know if you heard Michael Phelps, he had a quote once. It takes ability to get to the top. It takes character to stay there. What are the two things you would tell like listeners, like what those two would be from your perspective?
Yeah, I think one thing that I see, you know, I deal with so many insurance agents, so I'm like literally coaching entrepreneurs all the time, and they get to a certain level of success, and then ego kicks in, you know, and I want to explain ego a little better because I thought ego is like walking around like I'm better than you, right? And I think that's what a lot of people is, but like to me, ego is when your cup's full, when you know better, when somebody can't teach you something, right? So they're not walking around thinking they're better than people. They're just thinking they got it figured out. And so many people think they got it figured out. When you think you have it figured out, guess what? You're stuck. You're stuck, right? So like know how to make the income that you're making. You know how to create the lifestyle that you have. You know how to create the life that you have, right? If you want more income, a better lifestyle, a nicer life, you need new information.
Correct.
Right? And you know, if you knew how to be a millionaire already, you would be a millionaire, right? If you knew how to do this, you'd do this. So it's real simple. So it's like, and I understood that. And again, I got that from the 12-step process. So like when I got my insurance license, I was like, this is the deal. Because I had a bunch of life experience and I knew some stuff. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, what people do is when they meet somebody, they like want to tell you like, you know, oh, this is what I've done. This is what I've done, right? They're like trying to like edify themselves. I was like, I'm just going to play dumb. I was like, for this first year, no matter what someone says to me, I'm going to pretend I don't know. Like, I'm going to take this whole cup of everything I know. And I tell insurance agents all the time, I was like, listen, you know a bunch of great things. I'm sure you know so much good stuff. Take it all, throw it in the closet.
Wow. Pretend
Pretend you don't know anything for an entire year. Like someone says something, like, what color is the sky? I don't know. What color do you think it is? You know, I'm looking at it as blue as can be, but like, I'm just going to pretend, maybe he's going to say something different that I don't know. So I'm going to ask him, what color is it, right? Like that's stupid with it. And then do that for a year, gain all that information. So like my thing is like, I had a mentor that was teaching me everything I was supposed to know about insurance. I called this guy like crazy, annoyed the hell out of him every minute, every second I could. And then I'm like, all right, if I know everything he knows about this business, and then I add the stuff I know, in theory, I should surpass him. Because that was the goal. Like, how do I surpass the mentor? And that was the goal. But like, I can't surpass him if I'm telling him what I know, right? Like, if I'm telling you what I know, like, I'm not learning from you, right? What do they say? Like, you know, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so like the same thing. So people have success.
That's huge.
And you can't keep, you could stay at that spot, but if you want to get to that next level, you need new information. So, and that's how I ended up joining executives. I was like, man, just crushed it, had like a killer year, made more money than I've ever made. Everything was crushing it. Like anyone else would be like, all right, I'm going to the beach. I'm going to Thailand for a year, right? Like, and I'm like, all right, what am I going to do to make sure I don't do the same thing again? Because that happened to me from 2021 to 2022, we had a duplicate year. I was like growing, we did like 1.6 million.
Okay.
Then we did 3.6 million.
Yep.
Then we did 4 million. And I was like, whoa, hold on. What happened? How did we go from 3.6 to 4 when we were doubling every year? And I looked at the numbers. I was like, oh, we did the same exact thing. We spent the same amount of money. We had the same amount of people. We were like, it all made sense. So I'm like, all right, this isn't happening again. So I doubled my like lead budget, my ad budget for recruiting. I went probably more than doubled. I got stupid with it basically. Like, and then what happened? We went from 4 million to 8 million to 15 million. Or actually 4 million, 7.5 to 15 million. Like we started doubling again, right? And it was insane, but it was because I realized like I can't do the same thing and expect different results. You know, so when we had that really good year, I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? So then I started looking, I was like, I gotta join a mastermind. Like I need to join a high level mastermind. I'm just gonna spend the money, it's gonna be super uncomfortable and whatever it is. So I just started looking at different masterminds and trying to figure out where I'm gonna go. And then same thing, so like, I think I talked to Sean. I told Sean when he was with 7th Level, I was like, I'm gonna join Jeremy Reiner's training. I was like, but I want to get to this spot, right? Same thing. I was like, all right, we did exactly what we were supposed to accomplish. Like we crushed it. We did $14 million our first year, and I was like, all right, so like, what do we do for the next level? You know? So I was like, let's add sales training. Like we're selling, we know how to sell, but like let's get better at it. Or more importantly, like I talked to you, let's get better at teaching it.
100%, and that's what we're doing.
Yes.
That's Room for Agents. This is awesome, man. Thank you again for just opening up your home, like allowing us to kind of just chill for a second and peek at your beautiful view here.
It's gonna get crazy here, man.
Yeah, I know.
How far are you staying? Where are you staying at?
Staying at the Condado, the plaza. Over there.
So you're staying right over that bridge?
Yeah, we're staying right over there. So yeah, we're gonna try and we'll see, but we'll probably have to at least like walk or something. But yeah, we're here until tomorrow night. So
yeah. So what you want to do? Is you want to get a scooter.
Okay.
Grab the rental scooters. Okay. And then you'll ride the scooter in.
All right.
Yeah, all the roads are going to be blocked. You'll ride the scooter all the way to Old San Juan. Yep. And then there'll be a spot where all the scooters are parked. Okay. And then you're on foot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so what they're going to do, all these roads are going to be closed.
Wow. This looks awesome.
Yeah, all these roads are going to be closed out. And then out there in the island, they got big pickup spots. And you're going to see all these like school buses with these crazy lights, and they're going to bus 600,000 people in.
Wow. Oh, yeah, man.
You came like the craziest weekend.
We had no idea, too. We had no idea, no concept.
I forgot about it until it started happening. I'm like, here we go. Here we go again.
Here we go.
But yeah, you came, I would definitely go down there. Yeah. I mean, but get an electric scooter, rent them, and that's how you get in with them.
Oh, sweet. Well, thank you, man.
Don't try walking.
Yeah. Well, appreciate the hospitality. Absolutely. It's great meeting you finally in person.
Absolutely,
I've seen you on Zoom forever, but now finally in person.
I know, it's good.
Yeah.
You got to meet.
Well, cool, man. Well, that's a wrap. Appreciate it, friends. We'll see you on the next one.